We've all spoken about why we joined, and my grandfather served in New Guinea in the Second World War, and from a young teenager, that's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to be an Australian soldier, and that's something that nobody can take away from me, especially these muppets here in Parliament. So they've got no clue. They haven't had the courage or conviction to serve their country. They live off the public teat, and they want to knock blokes like Vito and John and me and Bob here in the background. Grow a spine. Apologise to these people. Apologise to the people of Victoria. Don't mock your veterans. We have a big Anzac Fest twice a year and the police dine out on it, and that's Anzac Day and Remembrance Day, and they get the happy snaps with veterans with the medals, and it's all tickety-boo. And when it doesn't suit their narrative, they want to kick us in the teeth. So I reckon they need to apologise, mate.
Or do you want to just ask him why he thinks, he's not a veteran, so why he thinks it's okay to call veterans lunatics?
No, I'm not going to ask him that.
Other Yemini for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia, outside the office of Nick Staikos, one of the members of Parliament on Daniel Andrews' government. Now, the reason why I'm here today is because last week, Nick decided to take to Twitter to mock freedom protesters dressed in uniform. Now, after seeing this tweet, I tracked down those men and put it to them to find out who they were. Are you an ex-serviceman?
Yes, I served in the mid-80s.
Every Australian who's pulled on the uniform, pulled it on to defend our freedoms. Some of us saw service in Australia, some of us saw service overseas. It really doesn't matter.
So it turns out Nick was mocking ex-servicemen and veterans, labelling them lunatics. So I'm here to put the questions to Nick himself. Write a reply. Let's see what happens. How you doing, mate? Is Nick in?
No, he's not available. Sorry.
He's not here, or he's not?
Not available.
We just have a couple of questions. Do you know if he served in the military? Did he serve?
In the military?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
So, I don't know if you know about a tweet he's done. I just want to ask him a couple of questions about it. Do you know when he's going to be available?
For you, probably not at all, I would say.
Why is that?
Because I know who you are.
Who am I?
Yemini?
There we go. All right, at least you know me. So,
No, I'm not living up to it.
what about to the viewers?
Sorry?
What about to the viewers?
The viewers of your show.
Well, they're Victorians, aren't they? There's a lot in this neighbourhood, in his constituents. You don't think... Do you think it's okay that he's calling veterans lunatics?
When did he say that?
I think it was last Sunday. There's a photo of his. Are you his chief of staff?
No, he doesn't have a chief of staff in his office. He has an office manager.
Or do you want to just ask him why he thinks... he's not a veteran, so why he thinks it's okay to call veterans lunatics?
No, I'm not going to ask him that.
Huh. So you think he's just not happy to talk to me. So if we get a different journalist here who might answer why he's willing to call ex-servicemen lunatics.
Journalism is it's a loose term for you, mate.
Okay. What's a journalist?
Not you.
What is a journalist? Forget about me.
Look, I think I got better things to do. I'm going to leave.
Right, so Nick won't give a statement as to what...
See you later.
The freedoms that we've had under the Constitution of Australia allow us to protest against governments, and if we don't protest, we've surrendered. Governments never give people freedom. Governments only ever take them away. I'm here representing my previous generations that helped other people get freedoms, other parts of the world, and representing my children and grandchildren here as well, because I don't want my children and grandchildren being subjected to the oppression that any politician, including the one that you're referring to, are trying to subject my kids to.
I did serve in a war zone. I served in Cambodia in the early 90s.
How does it feel being mocked by an MP who are part of that system that's been taking away freedoms while you've spent your life serving to defend those freedoms?
And I'm still serving those people. Even today, I haven't stopped. Like my oath had no expiry date. So I'm still that young guy that joined when I was 17 years old. and I still hold those same values. And people like him, I wouldn't even bother scraping off him a boot.
I'm not a journalist. I'm not journalist enough for him. Not that it matters. Who cares? If you're a civilian, if you're a local constituent, you should walk in there and ask him. It's not the journalists will never ask him the tough questions. That's why they keep getting away with this. So it's up to you guys. Hold him accountable. Share this story. And if you're in the local area, come in and ask him why he thinks it's okay to call ex-servicemen lunatics for dressing up in their own uniform just because they have a different political opinion.
We've given them the freedom to have their opinion, mate. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, and we've all got different opinions on everything, but the fact is that people like this small group here have actually stood for those freedoms, so you can say what you like, pretty much.
I took an oath back in the early 80s, and that oath has remained here. And when I saw the injustices of citizens being shot with rubber bullets in our Melbourne streets, it just tore my heart out.
I definitely think that Vito deserves an apology, and not only that, I think the people of Victoria deserve an apology.
Would you like an apology?
I don't want an apology because they're not worth worrying about. But the public opinion will form about what they've said and what they've done. That's all that matters.
They often use the CEO at the shrine to demonise this crowd. What would your response be to that?
So as a
By the way, the CEO, I don't think he even served.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Let's just clarify that.
Yeah, he didn't. John and I were both there on that Anzac Day where we
It's
were...
a famous photo.
That famous photo.
Interestingly enough, they didn't mock you in that photo. They used you to attack the policy that they didn't like, the media didn't like on that day. Why is it that they sometimes use you and other times mock you?
Well, that's the way propaganda works. It can be, you can twist the story any way you like. You can take, you could photograph a saint walking through the streets and describe them as Satan.
Happens to me all the time.
I can understand, yeah.
If you enjoyed this report, make sure to like, comment and share it far and wide, because the mainstream media, they'll never hold Nick accountable for what he's done. And Nick's protected. Why? Because I'm just not good enough of a journalist. It's up to you guys at home to share it with everyone you know, especially those in his constituents. This person who lives off the public dime, never served a day in his life, thinks it's okay to mock our veterans. And then head over to followavi.com, subscribe to our mailing list, and follow me across social, so if they happen to ban us, for sharing the stories they don't like you to see, well, at least we can still send them to you. Followavi.com, subscribe, and follow me across the platforms.